Zombies! Who doesn't like zombies? Come on, man. You know that if you at least haven't played Treyarch Zombies, you played some form of zombies in some game or another because it's fucking addicting. Anyways, the usual suspect Hatred has provided some zombies footage, and he actually had to cut this one down in length because he sent me 30 fucking minutes of fucking bullshit, man. He was like AFK for like half of that shit. He just left that bullshit in there for me to watch. I was like, what the fuck, man? So I couldn't download it. It was half an hour. He cut it down. So now I got some actual footage I could use up in this bitch. Anyway, look, I tear Treyarch a new asshole every video over their multiplayer. You guys have seen that. But I do like zombies. I think it's one of the few things that they actually get right each year. However, that doesn't mean the shit is perfect. It does have issues. And of course, I'm here to help them fix their issues. Not that they're ever going to listen to me. Because the last thing they want is for me to prove how fucking incompetent they really are when it comes to making video games. But anyways, man, to understand zombies, you have to understand the origins of zombies. Call of Duty always likes to throw in some bonus game modes at the end of their campaigns and shit like that. Call of Duty 4 had the Mile High Club, which is pretty decent. And then the following year, World at War decided to go gangster with Nacht der Untoten, or whatever the fuck they want to call that shit. What is it called? Night of the Undead or some shit? Am I right? Germans help me out here? It's something like that, right? Although I just like saying Nacht der Untoten. I don't probably not even pronouncing that shit right, but you know what? I don't fucking care. If you're German and you feel like correcting me on the motherfucker, feel free to do so in the comments. But as far as for the video goes, I'm calling this shit Nacht der Untoten. So anyway, after the historically inaccurate campaign with the comically bad enemy AI, you got rewarded with Zombie. Multiplayer was just a fucked over reskin Call of Duty 4 multiplayer, so Zombies was a major draw to the game for a number of games. Hell, 3 months after World at War's release, more people were playing Zombies than they were playing multiplayer. That's how fucking bad it was. More people went back to Call of Duty 4 than were actually playing World at War's multiplayer. So that too shows you how fucking terrible that multiplayer shit was. Treyarch, on the other hand, paid attention to this shit. This bonus map that they decided to give us turned out to be an awesome choice for them, and they capitalized on it. They released some zombie maps as part of their DLC packs and shit like that. We got some extra zombie Nazi maps, whatever the fuck, as long as we were willing to pay for their shitty multiplayer maps. You know, the ones that show up in the lobbies even though you didn't buy the shit. I fucking hated that, man. Then you get booted when the game starts because the game's too fucking stupid to realize not everyone bought them out. Oh shit, I'm not even gonna get into that fucking rant, man. Let's just say this. I wasn't too happy that they added multiplayer maps with zombie maps. Anyway, yelled long enough on that. Not gonna get into that stupid shit. Bottom line, Nacht der Untoten. I'm gonna keep doing that all fucking day long. That shit was a hidden gem on World at War, mainly because everything else was not up to par with Call of Duty 4. Now, fast forward to Black Ops 1. They improved on the campaign a bit. Again, historical facts, they still don't know what the fuck they're doing. The horrible enemy AI, that shit was terrible. And then obviously that fucking Vietnam mission had more problems than Lindsay Lohan on another heroin binge. But anyway, multiplayer was attempted to be improved. Not gonna get into debate on how good it was. I've already ranted about that shit long enough. But there's no denying that they didn't just copy and paste from Infinity Ward this time around. Then we got zombies. We got a theater, whatever the fuck that shit was. We got a top-down shooter, Easter egg little shit. And then we got JFK beating shit up. Then, once again, we get DLC. But this time, you had to pay $15 for map packs. Regardless of whether you played multiplayer or not, you had to fork over 15 bucks. And some of the shit they had just went off the deep end. I mean, they had that Night of the Living Dead motherfucker directing a zombie map. You know what I'm talking about? What's his name? Romero? Whatever the fuck his name is, man. What the fuck was that bullshit about, man? Then you're gonna have Zombies on the Moon. Yeah, okay. That's a far cry from fucking dead Nazis coming back to life, isn't it? So with Black Ops 2, now we get some more new shit. We have the usual zombie modes, run around for an infinite number of waves until you pass out from lack of sleep or have a seizure or some shit. I don't know, whatever the fuck, man. Then they go ahead and they add this transit shit with a bus, which, by the way, why does this shit remind me of Resident Evil 2 so damn much? I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. But this bus reminds me of the 3 seconds in Resident Evil that you had a bus scene where you had to walk through the motherfucker. I don't get it. And then obviously in the movie, I forgot which one it was because they all fucking blend together since they're so bad. They ride around on that magical bus or whatever the fuck trying to run away from zombies. I don't know, man. Every time I see like a bus and zombies, I think Resident Evil now. I can't fucking explain it. But anyway, man, the bus shit is a nice addition. It's not great in terms of execution, but it is something different from the norm. Plus, they have the 8-player zombie where you don't directly kill other players, but you need to annoy the shit out of them. I don't give a fuck, man. I'm not overly impressed, but I do like that it's another option. So here's my thing. Look at where zombies started from. A bonus level on a rushed and unfinished piece of shit game to where it is right now. At this point, zombies really has nothing to do with Call of Duty anymore. I mean, it never really did, other than being a bonus add-on with dead Nazis and shit like that. But what relevance does zombies have with the campaign or multiplayer at this point? None! Treyarch went all in on a zombie campaign or whatever the fuck they wanted to do with that stupid shit, when the reality is it has nothing to do with their core product. And don't get me wrong, they're squeezing a lot of shit on the disc. Well, 2 discs if you're on Xbox. But they're trying to keep the variety in the game, you know what I mean? But just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it. For example, EA Sports has Madden, they have NCAA football and whatever the fuck sports games you want to throw in there, whatever. Do they throw beer pong minigames just for the fuck of it? They could. I mean, they could easily just say, oh, it's extra added content, so we're just going to add some fucking beer pong to your Madden and make it more valuable. But what purpose does it serve? Why would the game need additional shit if the core product is already top-notch? I mean, I'm not saying Madden's top-notch, I'm not saying NCAA football's top-notch, but they're comfortable enough with the product not to add on some extra bullshit, which is the problem. The games Treyarch is putting out isn't top-notch. The campaign, as improved as it was, and I've said before, they improved a lot on the campaign, still has incredibly bad enemy AI, and now they have bad teammate AI. Online still lags like a motherfucker, still has commando lunges, we still have to roll out patches for shit that should have been taken care of before release. So if the core gameplay is still having issues, doesn't that make you wonder why are they dedicating so many resources to bonus content? I mean, don't get me wrong, I like zombies, but what I would like a shit ton better would be a working Call of Duty game. Fact is, zombies has nothing to do with Call of Duty anymore. Nothing! And it blows my mind that people will say, well, I buy Treyarch games solely for zombies. Why? There are better zombie games out there that do it better and fully dedicate their development team to a zombie game. I mean, think about it. Left 4 Dead is a great example. Dedicated zombie game, dedicated support from Valve, which Valve, as much as I fucking rank on them motherfuckers, they are a good company. They do know how to support a game. Resident Evil, the perennial zombie game, although the reviews for part 6 said it fucking sucked and I didn't buy that shit. And the reality is that zombies do become repetitive at some point. I mean, how many fucking dead things do you have to shoot in the head for hours? I mean, shit, I get bored with Mass Effect 3 at times. And that's basically zombies with guns and powers and shit. And I have a shitload of characters and guns in that game. Zombies from Treyarch had a fucking waffle gun, whatever the fuck that shit was, the Wonder Waffle and then whatever the fuck. And they had a Pack-a-Punch, they had toy monkeys, and whatever other stupid fucking shit they could add that makes no goddamn sense at all. Yes, we get the value when we purchase our $60 game, we get a campaign, we get multiplayer, we get zombie modes, but at what point do you look at this and say, the quality of all the pieces is sacrificed just to fit it on the disc? I mean, think about it, relevance is already thrown out the window now. I mean, fuck. Flying fucking robots in the future and zombies on a bus. Yep, I totally see that logical connection right there. You know what I'm talking about? Honestly, a few things need to happen to improve zombies. First of all, the DLC needs to stop tacking zombie maps onto the motherfucker. I'm sorry, man, but if we're paying $15 for this shit, I should be paying $15 for shit that I want. Now, obviously, this is Activision's way of leeching money out of people. We know that. But if you want the game mode to stand on its own, it needs to be made relevant and given its own DLC. Yes, we're talking 3 to 4 zombie maps for a price. No multiplayer included on that shit. Don't put any zombie maps tacked down to an overpriced DLC pack. None of that shit. Just give me zombies and shut the fuck up. Stop trying to leech the money out of us because you know we want zombies, so then you put on the multiplayer map packs. It shouldn't work that way. If you want this shit to stand on its own, if you want it to be a top-notch zombie game, treat it that way. Don't just treat it as an afterthought, because that's what it is. And then you get us to pay $15 for an afterthought. You know, basically it's another fuck you to us. I mean, we all know that shit. But the real solution that we all know should eventually happen is to give zombies its own game. Think about it. Treyarch already spreads itself thin with the talent they have, and they've created half-assed products all these past years. Zombies is already irrelevant. I've already proven that shit. It has nothing to do with Call of Duty. So why not just create a full-fledged zombie game? I mean, if it's so popular, if people are so willing to play zombies, just give it the full treatment instead of another half-assed product. Roll out a completely new game. Treyarch Zombies, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Nazi zombies, who gives a shit? Motherfuckers on the moon trying to fight JFK, whatever the fuck. You can come up with any 1,000 fucking scenarios for zombies. But what I'm saying is, if you have Call of Duty, have Call of Duty on a disc. Have your combat training, have your multiplayer, have your campaign, have your regular co-op where you're facing off against the enemy AI or shit like that. Zombies, nothing to do with the motherfucker. Put it on its own disc. Let it stand alone, be its own game. All you have to do is just look at how lazy the development is for zombies to begin with. Obviously, they add all these cool ideas with the Pack-a-Punch and ray guns and other bullshit, but the game doesn't end. Before Transit, you just sat there for hours running around from zombies with no possible ending. After a while, it's like, how fucking fun is this? I mean, keep playing without any reward, just shooting zombies is not exactly brain surgery here. They didn't put an end to the motherfucker. They just said, let it go on forever. Here's the AI, here's the programming, here's the development. Just let the motherfucker go forever and let people just shoot shit. They'll have fun doing that. What the fuck? That's what they do. But at least with a full standalone game, now you can go all out. Different modes, like transit, or things where you're the zombie, or you have to reach certain objectives, whatever the fuck. Anything more than the infinite waves of running around from dead motherfuckers would be an improvement. Now, I know they're trying to do it with Black Ops 2, with this transit system, but the fact is, it's half-assed. And I know for a fact this is not going to happen, mainly because the zombie market is so flooded. There's so much you can do in zombies, and Activision's just sitting there saying, you know what, we can't milk it that much. We already milked it on World at War. 4 years later, we're still trying to milk the shit out of it, so they're trying everything they can do to get as much out of it as possible, but they know it's not going to compete with Left 4 Dead. It's not going to be able to compete with the Resident Evil, because for the fact is, Treyarch just basically built a simple zombie game. That's all they did. Shoot zombies until you feel like getting bored. That's all it is. As fun as it is to play it, as successful as zombies is, it has no relevance to Call of Duty anymore. That's just the bottom line. It literally is just another enticement for people to buy a Treyarch game, knowing the multiplayer is probably going to play like shit. Although, on a bit of a side note, I know the issue zombies have with freezing consoles, especially on the PlayStation 3. Hell, at least once a night, I see people playing zombies, freezing out, and logging back in a few minutes later, so even that shit has a problem. And again, I'm going to probably talk about that in a future video, because we all know about the development problems with this motherfucker. Then again, this is Treyarch we're talking about. So are we really shocked to find out that shit doesn't work on other platforms besides Xbox? It's all bullshit, man. We all know that shit. So for those of you who are freezing on PlayStation 3, eventually we're going to talk about that bullshit. Anyway, man, as always, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit. Like I said, man, zombies. We all love zombies, but you got to fix this bullshit.